Hi, my name is Brett Grossman. I'm a top leader within the insurance and financial services industry. And today I want to go over some specific rules for you as the agent that you want to keep at the forefront of your mind when operating within the financial services arena. As an independent entrepreneur, as an independent contractor, you have the ability to work from home, set your own schedule, put yourself in a position for success daily, track that, benchmark that, and go back and review from 1 month, from 1 week, from one day to the next. Here are a couple things that you can keep track of, that you can control throughout your career as an insurance professional. One of them is something that I see over and over and over again, which is the first 6 months of an agent's career. If they came out of the gate and they were coachable, trainable, excited about what they were doing, they come out of the gate on fire. First 6 months. And then all of a sudden, something starts to happen. Some thoughts begin to creep up between their left and right ear. There's 6 inches between our left and right ear. And that's a small 6 inches, but man, it can hold a lot of information. What happens is something doesn't go right in the business. Maybe a client falls off the books. Maybe a client gives you a hard time. You had a no-show. You drove a far distance. Nobody was there. And all of a sudden, some of that fire begins to burn out. And all of a sudden, that excitement level begins to dwindle down. One of the things that you can do in order to continue to stay in the game is you need to develop self-awareness and grit. Grit, self-awareness, and begin to, it's like a chisel on a piece of stone. And you are the stone, and you're chiseling away at yourself so that you can become like a statue that understands that no matter what happens, no matter what weather conditions, no matter what somebody throws at you, you are always going to stand tall. You have a whatever it takes type of an attitude. And so this will keep you from getting completely blown out of the business and being able to, stay in your moment. Stay excited. And so during the first 6 months, you're going to encounter some ups and downs. One of the things that we're going to talk about today is the emotional roller coaster. You're going to find it in the first 6 months. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. Guess what? Your first year, it's going to go up and it's going to go down. Guess what? Your fourth year, it's going to go up and it's going to go down. The key to this roller coaster is don't let your highs get too high, don't let your lows get too low, and just try to stay even. Stay even. But don't get blown out. Develop the grit, a whatever it takes type attitude, chisel away, and really start to begin to self-develop. Read the books. Listen to things that you don't normally listen to. When you're at the gym and when you're working out, make sure that you have something else in your ear other than music sometimes. When you're in your car and you're on your way to an appointment, listen to something different than the radio. These are just some little key things. You can turn your car into a university on wheels so that you can come away with a master's degree, with a doctorate degree in business right inside your own car. And so one of the other things too is trial closes. Now, trial closes can be used throughout the sales cycle, throughout the process. You can say something like, does that make sense? Right? So if you're talking to someone and you've just asked them a question, a series of questions in a sequence, and they have now given you back the answers that they've told you, which basically is them telling you why they need your product or service, you can follow up with, does that make financial sense? Did that make sense? Now, if they just said it, they're going to be agreeable, right? They're going to agree with what it is that they just said. And so as a trial close, one of the things that you can say also is, would you agree? So I've just now asked you a series of questions in a sequence to get you to tell me what would happen in the event if. Now, after I've gone ahead and you've then told me, okay, again, same thing kind of scenario, I then would say to you, would you agree that this would make financial sense for you to go ahead and put protection in place so that such and such doesn't happen, so that you don't lose your home, so that you can cash fund your business in the event of something that a piece of equipment breaks in your business and you don't want to go ahead and take a loan from a hard money lender? Doesn't this make financial sense? Wouldn't you agree? Now, this happens after they've gone ahead and answered your questions and they've told you. Now, this is something also that can be used not just in the middle, it can be used at the beginning, and a lot of times you might have to use it at the end. Like, how would you use it in the beginning is very simple. You could be giving them some educational understanding as to maybe the difference between term life and whole life, or between cash value life insurance and term life. And then you could say something like, would you agree that with your current circumstance, that one of these options would make sense if you've given them 2 or 3 options? Of course, it's the reason why you're there, right? They brought you there for a reason. They brought you there to be able to find out how they can solve a problem, how you can help them solve a problem, okay? High activity versus low levels of activity. There's a direct correlation there. When you have high levels of activity, you have higher belief levels. When you have low level of activity, you have lower belief levels. You're able to persuade at a much higher level when you have a higher belief level. When you have low activity and you're in the field once a month or once every couple of weeks, your level of persuasion is probably going to be a lot lower. So in order for you to become better at what you're doing, right? They say that anything to become an expert requires a minimum of 10,000 hours. Well, if it's time to get to work and it's time to get started, you want to put together high levels of activity. It's going to come across in your presentation. It's going to come across in your questions that you ask. You're going to be just a lot crisper, and it's going to come across a lot better. Now, you want to know when to quit. What do I mean by this? I do not mean quit the business. Actually, pray you never quit. No. You want to know when to quit the things that are not working in your professional career. What does that mean? That means that if you've got a stack of leads and you begin to make calls on a Saturday and you've now talked to 3 people in a row and they've all told you no, stop what you're doing. It's not working. Quit that. Go to your mentor, go to your manager, go speak to someone that is going to be able to make an adjustment. A lot of times it's just this small little adjustment that you might need. But talk to somebody who can help you make this small little adjustment so that you can switch gears and then get back on the phone and become productive, okay? But know when to quit that. If you're going out and you're meeting with people, business owners, and you've walked into 5 owners and they've all shut you down the moment you didn't even have a chance. Quit that. Quit doing that. Get with someone or self-reflect and say, okay, that's not working. I need to switch that. I need to stop doing that. So you got to know when to quit the things that aren't working, because what will happen is that you will begin to self-destruct. You know, as human beings, we have the ability, right, between this left and right ear, we have the ability to tell ourselves things that are not conducive to being successful. Things like, why am I doing this? This doesn't work. This used to work. It doesn't work now. There must be something wrong with me. I don't even know why I'm here. I should be doing something else. There's a million other things I could be doing. There's a million other places. There's a million other people. All these negative thought processes are going to do nothing but bring your activity level down and your confidence level down. So you want to know when to quit that. Mel Robbins talks about something called the 5-second rule. The moment that you see yourself saying something or doing something that is not conducive, that is not helping you grow yourself, grow your business, or most importantly, help a client, think to yourself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath and then change. Change that thought pattern. change that process, change what you were saying. If you have someone in your life that is not helping you grow your business, that is a little negative, that is always disruptive every time you're trying to do the right thing, you gotta know when to quit these people too, okay? Develop the skills. What do I mean? Let's say, for instance, you specifically sell one particular kind of product, but you have a buffet of products in your portfolio. You're partnered with several different companies, you're an independent broker, you're not captive, and you want to begin at a very beginning stage, learn to develop the skills that you'll need in order to explode your income. What does that mean? So let's say, for instance, you specifically sell living benefits life insurance. And it can be wrapped around a permanent product or it can be wrapped around a term product. But you certainly are always offering living benefits life insurance. But your brokerage firm also offers the opportunity to do indexed universal life. And it's new to you. You're unsure. You're really not sure what to say or how to say it. Number one, ask for help. Number two, you need to get through the door before you can ever begin to talk about it. And what does that mean? What that means is that if you're just always mulling it over in your mind, I need to talk about an IUL. I need to say something. I need to ask a question. I need to find out. I need to probe. I need to ask the questions that they taught me in the training. Why? Forget about all that. What you want to do is you want to get through the door. How do you get through the door? Well, number one, you should be sitting with a client in their home or business. Now that you're with the client in their home or business to do what you were meant to go there and do, you are now through the door. You now have an opportunity to begin to start to figure it out as you go. I'm sure that the company you're with is providing you with all types of training that is going to provide you with the tools and the resources and the understanding and the verbiage to be able to have these kinds of conversations. So don't feel like, well, I don't know everything, so I shouldn't ask. That's the wrong thing to do. You want to be able to develop your skills by doing, by practicing, by developing a backbone and having courage in yourself to just be able to just bring up the subject. You know, let me ask you, in your 401k, do you currently know where your money's being managed? Do you know what you're paying in fees every single month or every year or quarterly with your money manager, with your financial consultant? Just one or two things that are just going to spark interest, but this is how you're going to begin to develop the skills. I'll tell you right now, you learn to do IULs, you can make a six-figure income just doing that alone, but you'll never experience that unless you develop the skills. Control your emotions. What does this mean? All right, I'll give you an example. You're a new agent and you get started and you sold your first policy and it went through simplified issue, non-medical privilege, and you got a deposit 48 hours later. And it was for about $1,500. Doesn't matter what the number is, but let's just say it was for $1,500. You get this deposit in your bank account. Within 24 hours, the money's gone. Within 24 hours, you just went on a spending spree. Now let's say you're a part-time agent and you're just getting started and maybe you're working at a job on the side. Or you're a full-time agent and you're getting started and you're working this business 30, 35, 40, 45 hours a week. And you just got your first couple of deposits and now they're gone. You just blew the money on things that don't matter. I'm not talking about not paying your bills. I'm not talking about not paying your mortgage, not paying your car note. I'm not talking about not doing the things that you need in order to survive. What I'm talking about is blowing your things on materialistic things that aren't going to help you further your business. You don't go out there and blow it on a $300 dinner. You won't go out there and buy yourself a new wardrobe. You don't go out there and just do the things that aren't going to be conducive to helping you build your business. So what should you do? What you should do, because here's what happens. You have the money, and then the money's gone. And you went from being really high to now you're really low because you're like, wow, I just had all this money. And now, right, you got the money in deposit on Friday and here it is on Monday and the money's gone. You spent it all. So, right, so you need to be able to control those emotions, those tempting emotions. There's a lot of money that could be made in the insurance business, but you got to be careful about where you spend it. My recommendation would be to reinvest it back into your business. right? Reinvest it back into an office space, or reinvest it back into, if your company does leads or whatever that might look like. Reinvest it into a development training. Go spend $500 and go find out about how to grow yourself and how to become more self-developed. Go to a Tony Robbins event or do something, but don't spend it on frivolous things, because that is going to put you into an emotional roller coaster. So become self-aware with that. All right. Also, you're going to have some clients that might push your buttons. You're going to have some clients who are kind of wishy-washy in the business, or they're wishy-washy in their home. And one minute they're, yeah, this is what I need. This is exactly it. Sign me up now. What do you need? A voided check? I'll get you my check. Here's my meds. Here's this. And then they call you up the next day and they go, hey, listen, I talked to my neighbor. He's a plumber. He's with State Farm, and he told me that I probably shouldn't be in this program, that he got the insurance for $20 a month. You're saying it's $40 a month. And, I just don't know what to do. I think I'm going to hold off. And now all of a sudden, right, there's an emotional, right, that's building up inside you. There's a fire that's burning up inside you. Like, what just happened? What do you mean the plumber? The plumber doesn't know anything about insurance. I know everything there is to know about a captive company or a brick and mortar company. It has nothing to do with what it is that I went there to talk to you about. So you have to reel yourself back in. You have to control your emotions. You have to get back on the phone. You have to be a professional. You have to go back out to the business owner. You have to be a professional. So learn how to control those emotions. And then lastly is to change your identity. And what I mean is, as an independent contractor, as an entrepreneur, running your own business, you have to be very self-aware about who you're surrounding yourself with. There's an old saying that you can take the 5 closest friends of yours and add up their income and divide it by 5, and that's your income. Well, I think the same could be said, right? If you had 5 friends of yours that always did the wrong things, 5 guys or 5 gals that always went out drinking on the weekends, they're always gambling, they're always messing around on their spouses, and you're hanging around with these 5 guys or gals, guess what? You're going to be the 6th. So if you have people in your life that aren't helping you, that aren't supporting you, that aren't encouraging of you, that aren't like when you tell them that you started your own business, they're like, great, when can we sit down? Because I'd like for you to evaluate what it is that I have. I don't even know what I have. You want those kinds of people in your life. The people that you kind of want to stay away from are the people when you say, hey, listen, I just started my own insurance brokerage firm. I'm just getting started with a couple of the companies, went through the training process, and I'd love to be able to practice with you. I just want to practice. And you go out to their home or business, you sit down with them, you don't bring a business card, you don't bring your laptop, you don't bring anything. You just go in and you practice what it is that you were taught. And they go, you know what, Brett, man, this was great. I'm glad that you did this. I'm glad that you did this for you. I'm glad that you did this for me, because this was a huge eye-opener for me. Who can we talk to so that I can go ahead and make some changes in what I've got going on? Here's who you want to stay away from that maybe you have in your life. Hey, listen, I just started a business, financial services brokerage firm. Yeah. No, I got plenty of coverage. No, but listen, good for you. Or you say, hey, listen, I've been able to help 100 people over the last 6 months. 100 people, leave them in a better position than how I found them, and I'd like to be able to take a couple minutes and help you out and do the same for you. No. You know what? Life insurance isn't for when I die, everybody can just absorb the brunt of burying me and what's going to happen with me, and I don't really care about my kids or my family. You want to eliminate toxic people from your life, and you want to be able to change your identity by changing who you hang around. Because who you hang around is a direct reflection of you. And whatever that reflection is going to be a reflection of you in business. The reason why people sometimes don't buy from other people is because it's not about the company, and it's not about the product or service, it's you. They're buying you. And if you're walking out of a home or business over and over and over again, and you're coming away empty-handed, it might be you. And 99.9% of the time, it is. And so be cognizant of that, control your emotions, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right type of people, the right type of other entrepreneurs, people that are going to build you up and lift you up. If you found value in everything that I spoke about here today, I'd ask you to do me a favor, help me out, Could you share this video on YouTube or share it on your social media site with other individuals? They don't always have to be working in the financial services world. They could be anybody working in any area of business or any area of sales, working any job. So I'd appreciate the shares and look forward to bringing more content to you here real soon.